My name is Marjan Moghaddam, and I'm a digital artist and an animator, and I live and work in Brooklyn. And actually, right now, I'm in my studio. And then sometime around 2016 is when I actually started to work with the art hacks on Instagram. The idea is, what is this deeper philosophical shift that is happening to us as a species and as a civilization as a result of this technology? I guess for me, the virtual reality started when I first did the virtual avatar of myself with the fractal animations for the internet in 1996, and also when I first did the box installation with the infinity mirror. Wasn't really until I started to see some of the early virtual reality work that was being done with the Unreal Engine and Unity that I became very, very excited. I definitely think that digital media has a lot to offer to art and a lot to bring to contemporary art in particular. To me, the really exciting part of the digital disruption isn't that, oh, you can do cool 3D CG as art. That's one small piece. The more exciting part of it is you can break down all of these barriers and communicate the really deep and profound or even important or sometimes your own unique artistic vision directly to the world. I mean, you sort of look at how I've been doing these art hacks on Instagram, and it's like, I don't need a gallery to put me in the Armory show. That's what the digital brings to art, a way of almost reinterpreting and reviving art for the 21st century. I think it was around 2016, and I have an animated CG figure called Sapient, and I had done a 3D print of my Sapient, and I was thinking of sort of sending it to someone who collects my work. So I thought, what? Why don't I kind of do an animation that would show all the animations and effects that this single frozen 3D sculptural moment came out of using mixed reality. This is the 3D print. This is a proof. This is a polycarbide proof of the sculpture in question. I sort of shot some video with the sculpture in it, and then using mixed reality and the technology, I just kind of put the animated figure and some digital flourishes, we'll call them, into the piece, and I thought it came out really cool, and I uploaded it to Instagram, and people immediately took to it, and oh my God, what is this real? Is this really happening? I mean, people were like really blown away by it. This was in the winter of 2016. And then, so I thought, wow, this is a really interesting technique. I'd really like to explore this more. And right around then, I think that the Berlin Nefertiti hack had happened, where they had used photogrammetry to 3D scan the Nefertiti sculpture in the Berlin Museum, and they had released the STL file, the 3D data, on the internet. And I think I sort of saw a mention of that and maybe a social media post from Postmasters Gallery, which is a digital art gallery here in New York. And I was like, and the post said, oh, here's the Nefertiti like art hack, and they're inviting artists to like remix it, and I was like, oh, I'd love to remix that. So just as a way of sort of responding to that transgressive call, if you may, from the internet, I did a quick animation with that hack and posted it, I think, within the first 3 days after the STL file was released online. And I think that kind of, and I think as I did those pieces, I sort of liked the idea of a hack as a transgressive thing, and then mixed reality. And I think about 2 months after that, Frieze Art Fair, London's Frieze Art Fair, was happening in New York City. I always like Frieze Art Fair. I remember thinking, I'm not technically speaking showing anything, at Frieze Art Fair in New York, but wait a minute, I think I could virtually show myself at Frieze Art Fair. So I created a series of hacks, 3 different hacks actually in one, and I sort of hacked my figures into it, and I thought that was like a really interesting experiment. And I've said this, and I will say it again, that to merely hack is transgressive. But to hack with some degree of social and political activism is transformative. And I think I decided, to just hack isn't enough for me. I need to really explore higher ideas and maybe even incorporate some social and political activism into this work. So for Art Basel 2016, in June, what I did is I put my David and Goliath figures, same exact animations, same everything, in a stone sculpture seen from the Art Basel, and it was basically Zero Stone's throne. because to me it was almost like all the posturing is there to confront the 1% in our world, but there's no resolution, no stones are thrown, nothing happens. Because I remember I was looking at my Instagram feed to see the work that was being shown, and feeling just so completely disappointed by everything that was being shared from that art fair that I felt that I had to make a commentary about it. And then after that, I mean, the work just took off on its own, and I started to hack all the art fairs that happened after that and continued to develop the body with greater sort of social and political activism, more art historic dialogue about the changing nature of visuals, more feminist pieces. And I sort of had the commentary about clickbait in it. So clearly the work was starting to get, a lot more political. There was a lot more commentary. And I think to a large extent, I remember thinking, because of the over-financialization and commodification of contemporary art, and this is just like really a way for the world's 1% to park their money as an investment. We've completely lost touch with the aspect of art that transforms us as a species and as a civilization. And you can't have a self-critical dialogue about this in the art world anymore, because art exhibitions and art fairs are so completely locked up by this system that I realized, the only way that you can have this self-critical dialogue is through augmented reality. It is through mixed reality. It is through virtual reality. It is through these technologies and post-internet art. It's the only way this dialogue can happen. Literally, this dialogue cannot happen any other way. Most galleries will not show it. Most art fairs will not show it. Most curators cannot show it. Most cultural institutions and museums can't show it, because everybody's beholden to this investment class. Everybody's beholden to this commodification and financialization of the art world. And this is really where the disruptive technology of the digital comes in, to allow for all of these mechanisms that should be operating in the art world but are not. I mean, this is really a way of reviving what art is and what it can be, using AR, using VR, using MR, using post-internet art, and using these disruptions of the digital in the right way, in my opinion. Thank you so much, Nina, and thank you so much, VR Focus, for this interview and the wonderful questions. I really like VR Focus, and I'm learning a lot from your channel. And this morning I was reading about the new Unreal features for AR and VR, and I'm going like, well, gee, maybe I should go back to using Unreal instead of Unity. So there you go, VR Focus. You're already changing my mind as to what I'm going to be working with next. So thank you so much, and it's been a great interview. Where can people see my art? These art hacks on Instagram are real shows, as far as I'm concerned. The Old Museum in Germany, on my domain marjan.com. That is the best, native form for the virtual art that I do.